There's a new course, as I said at the top of the show, the inaugural course for company directors, senior executives, going to take place out of the Ballarat University College. And joining me this morning, we have, right alongside me, George Fong from the college, and also Tom Mullin joining us. And you are with...
the Australian Institute of Company Directors.
Right, and that is an organisation which involves company directors who are invited to join or join of their own volition?
Any director can join or senior officer.
Right.
The idea of the Institute is to better equip people to be directors and officers of corporations.
Right.
And one of the things we're involved in with Ballarat University College is this special course for directors and senior officers.
Right. The need, Tom, is it so great? I would have thought that most company directors would make sure, or senior executives would make sure exactly of the legalities and all aspects of the position.
I don't think it'd be possible to equip any director with a full knowledge of all the legislation that affects corporations.
Right.
But they need to have an overview and some capacity to come to grips with dealing with lawyers and accountants and professional advisors, for example. We're attempting the course to give them an overview of the range of things they need to be aware of.
Right.
Directors are faced with corporations law, environmental health and safety law, trade practices law, a whole raft of
Very
legislation.
complex, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how much, George, in the course will you be able to cover? Will you give the people the skills who come to the course to be able to know in which direction to go to find more information, or will you give them specific information?
Well, I think it's difficult to sort of bring within the type of course that it is to bring in everything that they need to know. But what we are doing is giving them a fairly comprehensive overview of the position. They're provided with 2 volumes of materials, which they will read before they come into the 3-hour session.
Before they come into the session?
Well, there are about 6 topics, and each time that we have a presentation, every other week, the participants will normally have read some of the materials, and what we do is discuss and highlight the aspects of how those materials or the information those materials affects them.
All right,
But
yes.
as Tom was pointing out, it's just simply impossible now for professionals, people like directors, to take in every little piece of information and be able to accurately utilise that information and protect themselves at the same time. They have to call on other people.
Right. Well, it must alter all the time too. I know we have a set of standards in the television industry that we constantly keep having various leaflets to add to it, this now, delete such and such, so it must be the same. Things change all the time.
Yesterday I received the new copy of the updated legislation and from publishers, and that replaces one that was produced 2 months ago, and it keeps going.
Right.
Yeah, there's an awful lot to keep up with.
With the course, what would people have to, what sort of time would they have to devote to it?
Well, it's run over a 6-month period, but each of the sessions is held once every other week, and each of the sessions is held in the evening, about 3 hours. Each of them is about three hours long, in which we introduce them to specific topics, and we have various speakers and discussion leaders who will sit down with them and discuss information in the materials and matters that have gone on relating to that particular topic.
Was the Institute instrumental in helping design the course, Tom?
Oh yes, it's been developed jointly with the University of New England and ourselves. We have a joint curriculum committee that's constantly working to revise and update the material.
Right.
And as I said to you before, we work with Monash, Melbourne, Deakin Universities and RMIT, and now I'm very pleased to say with Ballarat University College.
Yeah, so am I in that case, because we're a very progressive university up here. Tell me, are there costs involved for companies who want their executives to take the course?
Yeah, there is a registration fee. It's around the $1,500 mark at the moment, which is, I think, in this time, reasonably minimal considering the amount of information that they would...
And the number of weeks they'll be working.
And the number of weeks, yeah.
Yes.
So yes, there is a little bit of a cost, but I think it's probably a cost well spent.
And the bottom line, the final thing, when they do the entire course, they come out of it with, if you had to sum it up, what would you say?
Well, I hoped that they'd come out with an appreciation of, or a perspective of the position that they play within the organisation as an entity, but also in the wider aspect of the corporate fraternity, and a realisation of the levels of their roles and responsibilities, and hopefully, perhaps a bit on the negative side, a citing of their possible liabilities if, in fact, they fail to meet those responsibilities.
Well, there have been a couple of cases of that recently, haven't there? By golly, yes.
One of the points about the thing is, of course, that you've got a range of directors doing the program, and they contribute a lot to it as well. We've got
and spin off each other,
yes,
I imagine,
right,
too, yes.
We've got some excellent people involved in Ballarat as tutors, but we've got some very senior directors involved as well, so that they contribute as well, and there's that two-way exchange.
We've got a nice mix between the academic. There are, among the discussion leaders who are involved, there are half of them are academics, like myself, from the college, and the other half are from the commercial and business fraternity in Ballarat, and leading, if you like, practitioners in their area.
All right.
So the mix is obviously going to be quite useful.
Right. Course commences?
30th of July.
30th of July. Oh, only a week away then.
We're well away, so.
And registration between now and the end is still okay. It's not too late. All right. All right. Well, if you have people, if you're married to, as I said also at the top of the show, or know people who may be interested in a course like this, seems invaluable, and have the time once a fortnight over the next 10 fortnights, then a wonderful thing to get involved in. Obviously, wonderful knowledge at your fingertips. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning and letting us know about it.
Pleasure.
Yet another big push from the BUC here in Ballarat, doing wonderful things. All right, we'll take a break.